You have access to unlimited knowledge, yet you're probably not taking advantage of it. Dude, if you're watching this video, that means you have access to the internet, which means you have access to YouTube, to social media, which means that if you give yourself 6 months where you get obsessed by learning a new skill, by learning a new language, by mastering a craft that could lead to a new career path, in 6 months from now, your life can be completely different, dude. And to prove my point, I want to share a story with you. So I remember when I was 9 years old, I was completely obsessed with skateboarding. At the time, the only thing I wanted to learn was how to do an ollie. So basically an ollie is when you just put your feet on the board and you're able to jump with your board. At the time, I really wanted to learn how to do this shit, but none of my friends knew how to do it. My family did not know how to do it. My brother did not know how to do it. And so I had to teach myself how to do an ollie. And so I had the great idea of looking on the internet and type in how to do an ollie. And I typed in that search request in what is my first language, which is French. But the thing is, at the time, no French content creator in the skateboarding niche was just teaching how to do like an ollie, because this was back in like 2005, I think. And so what I did was that I went to YouTube. These were like the early days of YouTube, and so I typed in the exact same request in English in the hopes of finding someone that would just create videos about how to do an ollie, like tutorials. And so I came across these videos of like Tony Hawk and Bam Margera, where they were doing like these full tutorials where they would just teach you how to do like an ollie, a kickflip, which is a different trick in skateboarding, like a pop shove. It basically, you could learn any skill, like any trick that you wanted to learn in skateboarding, and these guys would just teach it. This was back in 2005. But the problem was that I couldn't speak English. You see, English is not my first language. It's not even my second or my third language. It's actually the fourth language that I learned in my life. But I was so obsessed with learning how to do an ollie that I absolutely needed to understand what Tony Hawk and Bam Margera were saying in these videos. So I started watching, binge watching these tutorials of these guys just teaching you how to just jump with your board and do tricks. I could barely understand shit. At the time I was like 8 or 9, but I was so obsessed with it. And after binge watching these guys' content on the internet, I was finally able to completely understand what they were talking about just because I was obsessed with skateboarding. My parents didn't teach me to speak English, like they just taught me the basics, but the thing is, since they're Indian, like Indians have one of the strongest English accents out there. So if I really wanted to pick up like a good accent, I couldn't do it at home because my parents just had a super strong Indian accent. And my English classes in school did not teach me to speak English either, because since I come from a French-speaking country, people in France, they talk in English like that, and I did not want to pick up that accent, alright? So Tony Hawk and Bam Margera taught me to speak English. So if I had to rely on the educational system to learn how to speak English, I'm pretty confident my English would sound like that, because most of the teachers that were teaching me how to speak English did have a pretty shitty accent. But fortunately, I was the type of student that was just skipping the English classes because I knew that I could learn languages a lot better by myself. And if I had learned from them and not from Tony Hawk and these skateboarding tutorials that I was talking about, I'm confident my English wouldn't be as good as it is today. Even if it's not perfect, I'm sure it would be a lot worse than it is today. So in the story, I was just talking about me learning how to speak English, but the story repeats itself for me learning about fitness and nutrition. Nobody had ever taught me to build myself a well-balanced diet, a well-structured training program. The only thing I had to do was do my own research with the exact same thing you have access to, which is the internet. And it's the exact same thing for business. I'm now super fortunate to have built a skill set that I'm super grateful to have, which is copywriting, and I now own a copywriting agency. I work with some of the biggest European online entrepreneurs. And no institution, no school, no college has ever taught me to run a business. YouTube had, and my network had, and also my brother. If you're seeing this video right now, that means you have access to unlimited knowledge, yet you're probably not taking advantage of it. Do you know who's the person that's responsible for it? It's you. If you're not mentally or physically ill and you have a device that allows you to watch this video, there's a high chance you're completely responsible for your current situation. But it also means you have everything in your hands to completely change it. It doesn't matter what you want to achieve, doesn't matter what you want to learn. If you start now and you get obsessed with it, in 6 months from now, I promise your life can be completely different. So that was it for this one, dude. This video was not scripted at all. The only thing I wanted to do was just have a genuine talk, just you and I hope you liked it, dude. If you want to master a new skill, there's a skill that I learned and that has completely changed my life, which is copywriting. And I just released a full course that I'll put the link to this course like somewhere around there. So feel free to watch it if you really want to master a new skill that could completely change your life. And I'll talk to you in another video. Peace out.